Hello, everyone. Welcome to the latest edition of the podcast that features myself, Juan, Marc,
Mm.
and Kevin.
Hello.
We like movies sometimes. We are grateful that you are listening. We enjoy doing it. And on this episode, we are reviewing the 2023 film You People, directed by Kenya Barris and starring Jonah Hill, Lauren London, Eddie Murphy, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. We will roll right into this trash heap of a film with the IMDb synopsis, which states that You People follows a new couple and their families who find themselves examining modern love and family dynamics amidst clashing cultures, societal expectations, and generational differences. The tagline for the film is Opposites Attract, Families Don't. The film was written by Jonah Hill and Kenya Barris and was released on Netflix on January 27th, 2023. And let me see, what else can I tell you? It was produced by Collabo Inc. Society, Misher Films, with a partnership with Netflix, and it has a runtime of about an hour and 57 minutes. This was Marc's pick. So, Marc, please kick us off, explaining why you chose this movie and giving us your initial thoughts.
Well, first of all, I have to say, shame on you for mentioning that this is a trash piece in your introduction. That is against the rules. You're supposed to introduce this movie with no bias. So, that's the first time you've ever done that.
I've done that before, but I take your
Really?
point.
I don't remember.
I save it for the really trashy movies.
We didn't even get one of your little special intros.
Yeah, I know. He just quickly got into it. I thought he was gonna do some hip hop or something. Rap a chorus or something. Um, I I saw and it has a great cast. So I figured, you know what? I've never picked a rom, and this is a rom com. So I figured, what the hell? Let's do it. I could probably get away with the good one because it has a couple of big names on there that'll be pretty interesting. So I thought it was gonna be pretty funny. Um, didn't get that, unfortunately, and it was. I feel like this was kind of a. This is another movie I felt like at the end it was going to say shot on an iPhone 12 or something, because it felt very generic. There was nothing interesting going on. Um, there was a couple chuckles, and that's about it, unfortunately.
All right. Kevin, care to go next?
Okay. For my last pick, what a complete 360 from that one, which was Kings of the World. And if no one knows, 360 is a complete circle, which brings you right back to this was not a good movie. It did have a couple of good
Oh,
chuckles.
this is better than Kings of the World, though.
I don't know about that.
I disagree.
Oh, 100%. No, give me.
'Cause-
You're only saying
No.
that
Like,
because it was shot in Colombia. Get out of here.
I feel
No.
like it was, and some parts were so heavy-handed. It could have been called Wreck-It Ralph. It was just, it was. There were a couple good chuckles in it. I'm not gonna lie. There was the tracksuit part, maybe kind of chuckle, the basketball scene, but man, and there's a lot of things I want to talk about that I didn't like in it. But I think calling it a rom-com is generous because I didn't feel the romance between the two leads. I'm like, all right, it's just happening because they're telling us it's happening. I didn't feel there was much chemistry, and it answered. I thought Jonah Hill, while he delivers the lines well, it did answer is Fat Jonah Hill the funny Jonah Hill, and yes, because this Jonah Hill was not funny, and that's my my quick take on it.
Well, to be clear, this was infinitely. I would rather watch The Kings of the World 100 times and analyze it and dissect it much more than ever having to watch this again. This might also be it for me. This might be the one that, if anyone's listening, they probably will cancel me after this if they watch this movie.
No.
But this was
Let's just
trash.
stop here. Let's just stop here.
No, I'll take it, bro.
Let's go straight to ratings.
I, I want the heat. I want the heat. I'll take it. This
Juan
was,
wanting to smoke tonight. All right.
I already said it in my intro. This was a trash heap. It's a movie that shouldn't exist. It's a comedy without laughter. It's a romance without chemistry. It's the film version of an angsty teen trying to tell the adults in the room about the ways of the world. The characters are mere caricatures that portray a stereotype of what these writers imagine these societal issues are really like, but instead only prove and demonstrate how far removed these show business individuals are from reality. The film is set in LA, and that is the most fitting and realistic aspect of the film, as that is the place where you might actually encounter human beings with such narrow, rigid, and superficial views and beliefs about people and the world, but not even touching upon the societal dynamics of the story. It's just a bad movie. The plot is dull, it lacks creativity, it's full of tired cliches, so many, in fact, that it makes it nearly impossible for it to be remotely entertaining. Jonah Hill and Lauren London had zero chemistry. The situations and characters are merely a vehicle for the writer's heavy handed and completely biased views about the media propagated so called racial divide in the country. Within the first 5 minutes, I'm sure we each thought to ourselves, let me guess, the division amongst our family drives them apart. They break up only to somehow overcome the challenges and get back together. So I'm actually going to try to hold back beyond that, and just focus on the cinematic elements if we can, because it does make me pretty angry that stuff like this exists and is elevated as significant or even relevant. And it makes me sad that there are people that buy this kind of trash and perpetuate these misguided ideas. I apologize to Kevin for dogging his last pick so hard, because next to this it was Citizen Kane, and I feel like I'm owed some type of reparations for having to watch this.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. Well, let's talk about the good. And I feel like there's only one good thing, and I think that we all will collectively say 5 stars on this one good thing. You ready?
David Duchovny.
Boom. Anytime he was on screen, I mean, everything he did, bro,
Yeah.
all the way up until the end, where I felt like he was reading Exhibit's Wikipedia page at the rehearsal dinner. I mean, when he started playing "Ordinary People" by John Legend, and he was just butchering it, dude. He was by far single-handedly the best part of the movie, which I was not expecting. I really thought that Eddie Murphy and Julia Louis-Dreyfus were going to kind of steal the show, and I felt like Eddie Murphy was bored, that this was just a paycheck, and
Mm-hmm.
I hated Shelley. I hated her character so much. Like, it was just constant, 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 and it was not enjoyable. So maybe at the end of the day, since Duchovny didn't have that many lines, we all kind of just fell in love with Arnold because, I mean, I just felt like he was the realest one on the screen.
I mean, yeah, like you. I mean, I could see where you definitely, yeah, with names like Eddie Murphy and Julia Louis Dreyfus and even Jonah Hill,
Yeah,
I could see that. But on the other hand, I mean, he does it time and time again. I mean,
yeah,
he
yeah,
steals the show time
yeah.
and time again. I mean, um, I can think back to Zoolander, and we even saw him in The Bubble, where he kind of had some good moments. But the guy is just a comedic gold, man.
Yeah.
Not only was he butchering ordinary people, but my favorite thing was like in between verses, his little things he would add, like that's right, that's
Good old Robert Goulet over here.
yeah, he was like that's true. So, and again, how it goes to show you, like, I don't know, I blame the director, but also the writing. Like, how do you not see that, for a movie that's supposed to be a comedy, like, to actually be able to see and highlight the only person that's actually being funny
Yeah.
in the movie. We needed more of him. Of course, I always feel like that with every role that he has, especially when it's a side character like that that's purely there for it's crazy that he was the comic relief in a comedy,
Yeah.
because it was so lacking everywhere else.
I did enjoy when Mike Epps popped up at the end. He
Yeah.
had some good moments too. When he was in the car with Woody or Akbar, whichever name you want to
Yeah.
use.
Akbar.
And he was straight up telling him, "Oh man, I would have rode that white boy to a new credit line, a car." I was dying. I was like, "Yeah, that's probably what most people would have done. That's total. It makes sense." So I enjoyed him as well, but I over the fact that I don't know why they decided to let Jonah Hill look dirty the whole movie. He just looked dirty. He, it looked like the prerequisite to play this part was to not shower for 7 days before filming, and seeing him standing up to Amira, Lauren London, it's hard for me to see that happening, and the fact that, like Juan said, there was zero chemistry between the two. It never felt like anything like this is an actual romantic movie. This is just a cheap try at a comedy movie, and we're gonna stand on a soapbox for a little bit, and this is what it is. So it was unfortunate that it went that route.
I was interested that you mentioned that scene with Mike Epps. I did like Mike Epps in it, and I enjoyed that scene, but for a different reason. I actually thought it was kind of touching, not because of what's actually happening in the scene, where it's that conversation that kind of changes Akbar, but it kind of felt like a tribute to Charlie Murphy. Like, I felt like Mike Epps was kind of playing like a Charlie Murphy character,
Yeah.
and that kind of felt like a conversation that Eddie Murphy, or not necessarily the content of the conversation, but like a moment, like it was like a tribute, like saying like, hey, this character kind of represents like my brother that I lost.
Right.
So I felt that scene was kind of touching, but because I was adding all of that to it, that might not have been the
Right.
case at all.
Yeah.
But that's just how it seemed to me, which made it special for me.
At that point, you were playing like the Lost Boys with Peter Pan and opening up plates and pans with nothing in there, going, "There's food here."
Right. But
Fair enough.
yeah, I mean I'm a Jonah Hill fan,
Yeah.
from way back, and I'm sure he did stuff before that, but I think the first time that I saw him might have been 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah. Well, that I can remember, at least, or that was memorable for
There
me,
was
was
him in song.
Undeclared.
Yeah, that's
oh
where I
yeah, I
first
did
saw
see
him when he
that.
was in
Yeah.
that hot dog suit.
Oh yeah.
Do you
That's
want
when
to
I
touch
saw
my
him.
wiener? That part.
Was
And
that
I mean,
before 40-Year-Old Virgin?
oh yeah, for sure.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
pretty sure that was a pretty old movie. Yeah, I could be wrong.
Just
I don't know the
Justin Long.
timeline.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Justin
Justin
Long.
Long, not Josh
Yeah,
Long.
yeah, okay. I did see him in that then, yeah. But
But yeah, he's always had pretty good roles, and even in serious movies like Moneyball. I mean, his
yeah,
characters are still memorable. Not this
yeah.
one though.
Yeah, Moneyball, Wolf of Wall Street, And then of course even the comedy ones like This Is the End, um, Super Bad, of course,
Yeah.
but
No,
but
40 Year Virgin came out first, 2005, and then Accept it was 2006.
okay, yeah,
That's not nuclear.
So, but yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna talk about this other movie that I watched in the intermediate time after watching this.
Yeah.
That's also on Netflix. That kind of, I think, informs a little bit of where he's at in his life and like his whole journey, but and like some of the
documentary one, or
yeah, the documentary one.
It was the name of his psychiatrist or something, right?
Yeah,
Ducks
yeah,
or something.
Studs. It's worth watching.
Is it?
It's
The
yeah,
trailer seemed pretty interesting.
it's worth watching. It's much better. I mean, especially if you're deciding between freaking you people and like watch Studs. You're actually gonna learn something.
I did want to say something like I wanted to see this. I was actually kind of glad when Mark picked it because I wanted to see it because I like Kenyon Barris. Although I liked him in Black. I like Blackish a lot, but I feel like that was more like even keeled than this movie was.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was a little disappointed. But
yeah, because I feel like that's tongue in cheek.
Yeah, Blackish was good. Like even when they make fun of the races, like it's especially the first few seasons are really great in Blackish.
Yeah.
Have you watched it, Juan, or no?
No, I don't watch a lot of primetime comedy.
All right. You should check it out. It was actually really good. But I did want to get to the first chuckle I had in this movie, which is why my name's named that on this thing. When he said his girl said his friend said, "You didn't buy a tie-dye tracksuit, did you?" And the next thing he's in it, that made me chuckle. I was like, he's got a tie-dye tracksuit. I was like, I want one of those.
I think for me, the funniest moment in the movie was when he went to quit his job and he had that whole speech lined up, and then he handed them the paper and then just
ran.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Sorry, Juan, I cut you off.
No, that's okay. I mean, I hated that scene. Like I didn't understand it. Like how uh how much more feminine are you trying to make this guy that he's so scared and so nervous and doesn't even have the balls to quit his job.
Yeah.
Like it was, I don't know. I just didn't.
But it was a little fun. Like again, I have to go to more guy. I did like the basketball scene when they were like giving Jonah Hill the shoes.
Yeah.
When he ended up balling out. They're like, "Here, have my shoes." They're like, "Hey, we should get in a whole group chat."
That's true. No, so I like that scene because I mean I know people like that don't they can't for some reason like they can't have a conversation with their manager whether it be good or bad, like they're petrified of that interaction. So I was able to buy it and I didn't think anything of it because I actually know people like that. I was expecting him to do something, so it was just funny that he ended up kind of completely scrapping everything he did and then going home and telling Amira, "Oh yeah, I said F you and this and that," and she's like, "Oh nice, you got the juice." So it was funny how it kind of played out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could see it if he was like asking for a promotion, like that would have been more believable. But I don't know. Maybe it just felt inconsistent with the character. Maybe it just went over my head. But it just felt so exaggerated and like for whatever reason, like I just didn't buy it.
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
That two things. So one was it just like they were trying to make it like a music video, man, and these like transitions with like the hip hop music and the graffiti and the quick flashing things. It's like it was stupid. I didn't like that.
I felt like I felt like this movie was like geared towards like teenagers because those cuts like you're talking about, they were very jarring. And I felt that they came at weird times because we have a scene where things are happening and then it's like, boom, right on to the next thing. There's no actual building of characters or anything like that. It just felt like it was like, all right, next scene, next scene, next scene. And I feel like everything could have been like maybe 10 minutes longer, showing us an interaction. What actually killed me the most, and it made me go, oh boy, we're in for a fun ride here. When he finally meets Amira and they go on the first date, and all of a sudden it's just clips of them with music, and we watch them going through their dates. They should have showed us that. Like, show us how they're growing. Make me believe that these two are actually a thing, instead of giving me quick snippets of them talking and we don't even hear what they're talking about. What brought them together? What made Amira go, you know what? This guy, even though he looks like a hobo right now, I'm really interested in him. Like, I don't know what drew her towards him, you know. Um, so it was just a weird decision to cut that out and just make it a quick montage.
Yeah, I mean, they gave you that first date, and that one conversation they had. But what didn't make sense to me was at the beginning when they introduce her, there's like her ex-boyfriend or
Mm,
whatever that's like trying to get back with her,
right.
and one of the reasons she gives is like that he's like fake, that he was all like that
Yeah.
he always seemed. And then the movie, and then almost every scene with Jonah Hill, he's like always being fake, whether it's with her dad or like with other people. And like I'm like, she doesn't see that, or it doesn't bother her now, or like I didn't understand it.
He was being fake funny. That's the difference. He's fake funny, and they were just fake, I guess. I
Like there
don't know.
was there was a
Oh,
there was one
it was
they
no
were
funny
asking.
when he said that he loved what's his name, Farrakhan. It's like,
Right.
Yeah,
what do you love about him? And his mom,
right.
yeah, what do you love about him? I was like, oh,
Like why I he was being I just don't. I just give up.
There were a lot of, and that's why it made it feel like this movie was just trying to send a message. This isn't a movie to be enjoyed. This is a movie for a message. Like, stop enjoying black culture if you're not black. That's kind of how I took it at the end of the day.
It's not black culture, Mark. It's the culture. Get it right.
culture.
It's the just like how the University of Miami is the U. This is the culture.
Yeah, I guess fair enough. But it didn't feel like a rom-com. It just felt like, hey, this is what we're telling you, and that's that. We're gonna try to package in a romantic side to it, but at the end of the day, y'all need to stop enjoying the things that we like.
Well, and two things about the message is like, on one hand, like you want to be so progressive, right? And that's kind of like what you're saying is we need to advance and progress. But then on the other hand, that same character who was the transgender character who plays
Mo?
his best friend Mo, yeah,
Yeah.
is supposed to be so woke, and yet is sitting there dogging him about the size of an engagement ring. So like
Yeah. Yeah.
obviously in the culture, like materialism is actually like idolized. So, but yet it's supposed to be so progressive. But like how old fashioned is that? Like
Yeah.
that is some like old fashioned, idea about the size of an engagement ring. Instead of what the ring actually represents.
Yeah. Well, I think, and I'm could be completely off, but I feel like that happened just so they could segue into the actual joke, which was, oh, I'll just tell her this was my uh, grandmother's ring from the Holocaust, which kind of made me chuckle. But after that, it was just like, okay, yeah, no, she's really going hard on the ring. So, but I did laugh when they're like, oh yeah, you got to change the box, get like a bag and dirty it up. um, but I completely see what you're saying. It's like they're trying to tell me something, but then doing something else, you know?
Yeah, or again, that's why, or it's even better an example of like why you shouldn't just just live your life, bro. Like, don't worry about, trying to change it because, you know, you're sitting here criticizing that. Well, someone can come and criticize you about 10 other things. It's like everyone is flawed. Everyone is imperfect, And so movies like this that are like, again, on their high horse, doing their thing, trying to, and it's, again, it comes from like this one group of people in LA, in Hollywood, in show business, like the rest of us who are outside of that world, like, again, I don't want to get into it, but it's just like,
No, but I do think what you said made a lot of sense that it was based in LA, because I really don't see this taking place anywhere else. I don't see any other backdrop but good old California. So that made a lot of sense. One thing I didn't like, which really had no point to the story and kind of made me roll my eyes, is when I think her name was Liza, his sister, and they mentioned, "Oh yeah, she's a lesbian." I was like, what does that matter? Like, why are we notating this? And then throughout the whole movie, we don't see her interact with anyone other than the family. So why are we labeling this person? Are we just adding it to be like, okay, look, hey, we got somebody part of the LGBTQ thing.
Gave David Duchovny that moment where he counted him on his fingers. Got him. He low five.
LGBTQ.
well, was that the mom though that mentioned it?
Yeah.
Was it
Oh,
Shelby?
because she came and she's like, "Hi, hello," and that was the only
Mm-hmm.
part that ever factored in. She goes, "Oh, she's a lesbian."
Right. I didn't think she said a hello like, "Oh wow, you're hot and I want to date you." I think it was more like, "Oh wow, you're hot and you're with my brother. That's why are you
No.
with my brother?" That's how I took it. So I wasn't expecting her to go, "Oh, she's a lesbian." I was like, "Oh, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and file that under useless information."
The final scene again was another super, or I don't know if it was the final scene, but just the wedding type of
Yeah.
scene was kind of similar to a movie that I really like, which is the 5-Year Engagement. But the difference between this one and the 5-Year Engagement, so in the 5-Year Engagement, Emily Blunt, she reunites with Jason Segel, and then she goes, like, as the moment they reunite, she's like, all right, let's go get married. And then she has these stations where she like stops and she gives him a choice, like, blue funny suit or serious tuxedo. And then he's like, oh, the funny suit. And then they're like, next one is like justice of the peace or rabbi, and he's like, justice of the peace, so that made sense. In
Yeah.
this one, the mom and dad planned everything without them without even knowing if they were going to get back together. And then they sent out invitations, they got it catered, they had all the guests, like,
I do enjoy that they still had their rabbi on one side and the what is it, the
The Amon.
Aman on the other side. Like they still pushed their, hey, this is what we want you guys to have. So at the end of the day, they still did what they wanted to do, but I guess it's the end of the movie. We're past the point of caring anymore.
yeah. And then even like in the Vegas trip, oh, all of a sudden we're supposed to believe that these are Jonah Hill's boys. They haven't, not one of them has been mentioned the entire rest of the movie. I was actually like, who's he going to Vegas with?
I thought
And then all of a sudden, and they're all white. So
Yeah, I thought it was just gonna be him and Mo.
that's what I thought too. I was like, this doesn't sound very fun at all.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, 4 or 5, crazy white guys show up, just for the bachelor party.
Andrew Schultz was there. He was at the wedding too. The wedding
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah, he did.
Well, I
He
think
did
they
a
all
speech.
were, right?
Yeah.
But no, that makes sense because we're watching a guy who can't even tell his boss that he's, but then this is the same guy who's going to Vegas and doing a bunch of blow and he's with strippers and it those two don't go hand in hand. Like you don't normally encounter people that are that way. Because all his friends, I guarantee you, they'd walk into their boss and go tell him to F himself, you know? So how is he friends with them?
Or even just the fact that he does a whole podcast. Like that's the whole thing that he does. Like that's his passion project, is this podcast where he just sits with Mo spewing opinions. And so it's like you can't lack that much confidence to be doing that, to be able to do that too.
Right.
And apparently have the thousands and thousands of followers that they had.
Well, especially have the confidence to get in some girl's car thinking it's an Uber and not even get out.
Yeah, and then say, hey, I'll take you where you gotta go.
Yeah.
So hey, I'm glad you brought up the podcast thing, because the setup they had, that's where we need to be, bro. That's
The
what
big
we got.
monitor in the back. The big
Oh
screen.
yeah. We need to be doing that. We need to be doing some video. Like that was it. That's why I picked this movie.
Yeah.
So you can see the setup.
Mastermind.
The minute that I can rearrange my entire life and move
Inception.
back to Florida, we will set up a studio.
Not even,
for
bro.
Sure.
Just fly me and Kevin out to PA every week, bro.
Makes sense. Or just for a weekend and we knock out like 5 or 6 movies.
Yeah, man. We'll sit in front of a giant screen. We'll record them all, and then that's it. But no, for real, I do that. Like that's the setup. That's what I've been envisioning. That while we are still doing audio, we're kind of just recording ourselves, which I feel like eventually we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there eventually.
I gotta say that
stars.
I gotta share this funny line that I wrote here, though. At least I think it's funny. It said, "This movie had the subtlety of a St. Pauli's girl neon beer sign over the dining room table."
Michael Scott would love you for that. Yeah. And I've really, at the end of the day, that's really what dragged the movie down. It's just the constant white versus black, white versus black, white versus black, white versus black, and it's just like, I mean, we live it, man. I don't need to watch a movie about that. And sorry, I don't want to get into it because I don't want to unleash the beast that is Juan.
I do want to say the one thing about Shelley's character, like she just seemed like she was ignorant racist as opposed to Akbar, who was just angry racist, which he was just being rude and trying like to destroy Jonah Hill.
Yeah,
she was trying to make her feel welcome, and I guess I connected to that because my ex grandmother-in-law, she did the same thing to me. What? Yeah. But like the girl's great grandmother, like she did the same thing when I went up there. She offered me rice with my pizza. She offered me jalapenos. You know what I mean?
She's just being a good host, man.
Because she wanted me to feel what? Like I ordered chicken wings once. She's like, "You're gonna get them spicy, right? Because your people like spicy." And my father-in-law was like, "Oh, geez." And even like,
what you mean, you people?
Yeah, my uncle was like, "Why do you ask him if he always wants rice?" He's like, "Because they're people." He goes, "I'm pretty sure he eats rice like everybody else." And it was like I could see that, and I could tell it was coming from a genuine place. She wanted me to feel accepted.
Yeah.
But, so I think there were like 2 different times. I didn't feel like I was a toy, or she was like, "Oh, look, we got the Spanish guy in the family."
Yeah, I guess, but like
it was annoying though. But
I feel like at some point she could have read the room and be like, "Oh, this girl really isn't liking that I'm doing that." And yes, I understand they finally had that pivotal moment at the end. But dude, we're spending the whole movie watching that.
But I would have been happy if her or even Jonah Hill before they blew up said, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?"
Right.
And just say, "Hey, you may not notice this, but this is kind of what's going on." And then if it keeps going on, then you blow up, say, "Listen," or you tell Jonah Hill, you gotta go yell at your mama.
Something. Because she just got annoying towards the end. It was just annoying. It was like, it wasn't even funny when they had that scene at the bachelorette party and she
the wig.
Yeah, ripped the wig off. I was just like, oh God, what is going on? And then they all got upset, and because bro, that doesn't happen like that. No, that doesn't happen in real life. Like, only time wigs come off is when we fighting. You're not waving your hand by someone's hair, and all of a sudden, the hair is getting wrapped around your ring, and you're ripping a wig off. it just felt like too much. Like, oh my, I get it. She's a white woman that doesn't know how to be around black people. Okay, sure, great. I understand that we don't need to keep. It's just I felt like Clockwork Orange, where my eyes were just forced open. I had to keep watching these scenes with her.
Well, I was shocked. I mean, I was expecting them. Like when she was doing her last speech at the end, I thought she was gonna kneel when she was repenting and asking for forgiveness. I thought she was gonna kneel. I'm surprised they didn't make her do that. But
Almost.
it's just so heavy handed, bro.
Yeah,
Like there's and Eddie Murphy has been in great movies that have tackled this on both sides of it, right? So like he did Trading Places,
hmm
right? And then even 48 Hours, right? Played a lot on the black and white thing, right? Those are comedies. Or other movies like that have tackled this. Like there's ways to do it where first and
Shrek,
foremost you
bro,
have to
Shrek.
put you have to put story first. Like it has to be a good story first and foremost. Like you have to make a
Yeah,
good movie first, and then your message will really be able to be conveyed and travel, because it's done in a great cinematic and artistic way of just telling a great story. And there's everyday great stories that you can choose from and use for inspiration, right? But when it's it's virtue signaling, and it's just we just want to talk about this message, so this is the the little half-assed story that we're going to put together about this guy and girl or whatever. It's just heavy-handed virtue signaling, and it's the least interesting in the world because it has no nuance, it
yeah,
has no subtlety. It feels completely artificial and fake and manufactured and packaged, and it's just it's just hard to swallow.
yeah. Well, and the fact that it's hard to swallow is because it's just continually going down your gullet, bro. There's no chance to swallow. Your head's being forced back with your mouth open, and it's just pouring in there. So there's no chance to swallow it. There's no chance to digest anything. I mean, even if you had any grain of something that could have been useful or worthwhile, it's muddied by everything else that you're doing. It's just a constant like barrage.
Yeah. Yep.
But we'll say though, next time I get married, 40 hood Tron suits coming out.
But yo, if you got more than 40, you gotta get your own suit. I want red. All right, red's off the.
Red's off the table.
I didn't understand that. Like, what's the trance? Is that the actual movie travel? You can't say
Yeah.
ghetto. Like, what is ghetto?
Well, you just said hood Tron. I'm like, all right.
What does that
I don't
mean?
even know what that is, but okay.
I kind of wish at the end. Oh
I
man,
did think it was gonna
see,
be the wedding
that's a missed opportunity.
at the
That
end
dude could have been at the wedding wearing his Tron suit.
by himself. Boom.
Yeah, exactly. And then we could have saw what the hood Tron suit was.
That would have been good.
Yeah, right. Missed
I was
opportunity.
expecting it. Yeah, I was expecting it, whether it was like him or like some of his people or whatever.
Yeah.
I definitely thought they were gonna do it.
On this edition of How It Should Have Ended, Tron should have been at the wedding, bro, in his blue suit, because red was already taken. He didn't want to use it.
Well, you said Tron, but I don't know why it made me think of this meme that I saw recently. It was a picture a picture of RoboCop, and it said, bro, they brought this man back to life to keep on working.
9 to 5 wage slave job, and he ain't get paid for it now because he don't need money.
Oh,
That's
but
pretty good. That's pretty good.
but yeah, what was it? Anyway? I did So
Misfire.
it in the inner
That's how he ended up with 5 kids.
But yeah, like I said, I did watch the movie Stutz. I was really curious about it.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. It looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's literally just
Would have been a great movie to review for the podcast.
oh well, I can't limit myself to only watching movies for the podcast. So
I do.
He needs
you said
to.
you were just watching one with your kids that we're not reviewing.
I was watching the Brady Bunch.
Okay.
Yeah, but we talk about old or new because I haven't seen the new.
No, I'm talking about the old Brady Bunch show.
All
The
right.
show.
All right, fair enough.
Anyway, it's pretty much just a conversation between him and his therapist, and it's filmed over a long time, but it's really interesting the kind of the turn that it takes and some of the stuff that's revealed, but even the so it's also about like sharing this apparently he's a famous psychiatrist, Phil Stutz, I believe is his full name. I'm not positive, but I think it's Phil Stutz.
He has one of those famous looking faces.
Yeah. But no, he has a really good tools and techniques that are shared in the movie, but yeah,
it is Phil Stutz, by the way.
it is kind of Kevin said that the fat Jonah Hill was the funny one.
That's why he's in therapy.
Well, and there is a thing about whether it's being self-deprecating or but for a lot of these guys, the comedy comes from like a dark place, or at least from a way to combat like insecurity and things like that. So now that he's has been undergoing this journey, I don't know. He was definitely funnier in the documentary than he was in this movie in You People. So he still is funny, he still has that, but I don't know. I don't know if now that he's been on this more positive, enlightening journey, if he's ever gonna be kind of that, because his comedy, in some ways, his characters were always a little dark and like twisted,
Right.
So I don't know if we're ever gonna see that Jonah Hill again. I hope so, but he definitely too, like, he's got all the tattoos, and now he like has really embraced a sort of look that is somewhere between like homeless and like hip hop.
I thought he would look like a Russian mobster, but
That too.
I guess. I don't know. Are those tattoos real?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's him. That's him.
wow.
But yes, Stutz is I enjoyed it, especially compared to You People. It's far better. So I figured I would mention that because it's like, all right, there's two fairly recent Jonah Hill movies. They're very different, but out of the two, definitely watch Stutz because it's kind of too unlike anything else that I've seen. I know there's other movies out there where it's kind of like just a conversation, even famous fictionalized ones like what is it? My conversation. There's one about an interview. Is it My Interview with Andre? Or anyway, I digress. But anyway, it's good.
I wonder if the reason why he had the issues he had with the whole fat humor is because, like, he knows that he's funny because he's playing off of his weight. And then when you have people who are telling him that that's why he's funny, or telling him, hey, we need you to be funny, we need you to be fat funny, then it becomes like, oh, since it's no longer him that's presenting it and now he's being asked to do that, I could see how that would upset you. It's like, well, like, you're asking me to do something that when you say it, it sounds, a little degrading, but like, I'm okay with doing it because I know that's what's funny. And I don't know. That's kind of how I took it. Because I
Well,
think he only was getting roles because he ended up being the fat, funny friend.
yeah. Well, and not only that, but I think there is the reality that, and so, like, for example, part of what always made Jonah Hill funny too was like he could, he didn't just bark, like he could bite, right?
Yeah.
Like he could be mean, and it was really funny because he's also so creative, like or if you even watch like the James Franco roast, like when he was on the James Franco roast, like he killed it. And that too is like, all right, you're gonna make fun of me for being fat, and so like there's this anger. He's like, all right, so I'm gonna get you. Not now. Not only has he done the therapy, right, to like help him with his anger and his depression, but when you also veer towards woke, like just the reality of that is that you become less funny because
Yeah.
now you're just sensitive to everything, or you don't want to be offensive, or you take offense to everything. So I'm not even knocking it. I'm just saying the people that do subscribe to that, especially if they're essentially people that have been funny, like you become less funny because of it.
Yeah.
And so I think he's got both of those things kind of going against him at this point as far as his comedy.
Yeah.
Do y'all know who motivated him to lose weight, by the way?
Was it Leo?
No, close, but no.
Mm.
It was the great Brad Pitt when they did Moneyball together.
Brad
Got him a
Pitt.
trainer, encouraged him to lose weight, got him skinnier clothes.
Yeah, he was pretty big in that movie.
Yeah,
He was big in that movie.
but that's why after that, like he helped him lose the weight.
Yeah.
It's not good for you, bro.
It's funny because I feel like he had a lot of serious roles before he lost the weight. Like he was trying to show people like I'm just not a fat funny guy.
Yeah. Did this is off topic, but did any of you guys see the one movie that he wrote and directed that was like about the 90s, like skateboard
No.
culture?
I want to see it.
I forget what it was called. Can you look that
No.
up?
I have not seen.
Yeah, that looked, I was
So he's a
definitely
writer?
curious about that. He wrote and directed it.
Yeah. I think it's called Mid-90s.
Mid-90s, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to try to catch that one at some point. But he also he has a brother that died a few years ago. I didn't know that.
So he doesn't have a brother.
But anyway, that was a fun fact, Kevin.
I was prepared.
Finally.
Are we prepared for Juan's fun facts?
I did not.
Oh
think
yeah.
fun facts for this. I did not think
Oh, he's got fun facts for every movie, no matter.
Oh no, I didn't have any for Kings of the World. I had one, but it wasn't very fun.
You did.
I did.
It was fun for me. I had a great time with it.
Are we moving into the fun facts portion of the podcast?
You got any
Yeah,
more?
but
You got anything more to say?
I feel like we're all sucking on an empty bag of water here.
I don't think we mentioned this movie like in 15 minutes. So
Well,
we've been talking about Jonah Hill.
No, we've been good.
Said all we could say.
Yeah, I mean,
so is it time?
I do want, I'm not gonna mention it on air.
Is it time?
But
yeah,
the other podcast that we have been talking about that does film reviews,
yeah,
I do like that they give the Rotten Tomatoes score too.
Oh.
I feel like that's a fun kind of reference to even just to have the comparison between our ratings and those.
Wait, do you mean vocally, or do you mean, or are you talking about the person who has to post it on Instagram?
No. They talk about it as part of their episodes. Like they always give, after they do like the synopsis and stuff, they give like what the movie was on Rotten Tomatoes. So I like that. This one, oh my gosh, this is like some ad block. I have some ad blocker thing here. Goodness gracious.
Laptops. UP 88%.
From which one though? Critics or audience?
I'm kidding. It's
No,
42.
okay.
It didn't even add up to that.
36 for the audience, though.
42 and 36.
It is not certified fresh.
That's honestly high for me. I feel like it should be more
This
in
is
the
a
15%
certified
range.
stinker.
All right, some fun facts.
Hold on,
Yo,
it's
wait.
time.
Instead of Rotten Tomatoes, we should do something else so we're not biting off of them.
I'm okay with biting. There is no such
right.
thing as original. Everything
Sour Pete.
feeds on.
Sour Pete.
We're all synergy, bro. We're all part of this together. You know, it's all
We're
good.
all in this together.
Oh,
Sorry, go
man.
ahead. Fun
Let's go
fact
high.
time.
Let's go high, baby. Okay.
We're trying to stall for Kevin.
No, I'm ready. I just need my intro. I started my intro and then I kept talking.
All
Well,
right,
no,
I'm
there was
ready.
no intro. You just asked if we were ready for fun
ladies and
facts.
gentlemen,
We ignored you.
it's time. Woo!
All right, this is Fun Facts with Juan.
See, if we had video, you'd see me dancing right now.
We will. That's coming.
It's a lot of hip action right now.
Fun fact number 1.
Ooh, there's multiple. Wow.
Not to put her on blast,
Ooh.
but Lauren London has babies with both Lil Wayne and Nipsey Hussle. Rest in power.
Wow. Well, I wouldn't mind putting a baby in her too.
She
Another one.
Yeah, put me on that. Another one.
That's what she said after the first baby. Another
all right, number 2. David Duchovny's character is obsessed with Exhibit in the movie. Did you know that David Duchovny acted with Exhibit in the film The X-Files, I Want to Believe? In an interview, Duchovny stated that he didn't mention this to the film's creators because he was afraid they would change the dialogue. I don't know why they would do that, but apparently that's what he said.
That's pretty good.
Two things. One, I thought you weren't sure of the movie when you said X-Files, I believe. I thought like that's the title of the movie. Like in X-Files, I believe.
I want to believe.
Yeah,
I want to believe.
Yeah.
I want to believe it's X-Files.
That makes sense.
They missed an opportunity. They could have had Exhibit at that wedding at the end.
Yeah, man. That
Bro,
doesn't seem like it would have been hard to do.
No.
I think he lives in that area.
Pit My Ride ain't even going on anymore.
You guys ever seen Pit My Ride?
Of course.
Of course.
I thought you were about to hit me with not only is David Duchovny in love with Exhibit, I am as well, and you're about to hit me with some Exhibit facts.
No. There was a funny line that he had about Exhibit when he was talking about Pimp My Ride. He said like he was such a gentleman or something like that. It was great.
Pimp My Ride.
The director, Kenya Barris, was in the movie. I actually liked his little line that he had.
Yeah.
He was the guy on the airplane. When I think he was talking about Eddie Murphy killing someone and getting a full night of sleep. He's like, I did that.
Get full 9 hours of sleep.
Yeah. That was funny. All right. Are you ready for this last one?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry it's gonna end though, but I'm ready.
This was declared by Andrew Schultz, who, as we all know, was in the movie as one of the bachelor party boys.
Schultzy.
But he says that the final kissing scene at the wedding never really happened.
Yes.
He says that they stopped before making any physical contact, and then the kissing was done in CGI in post-production.
Correct.
And apparently it was because of COVID.
Yeah, because they finished it in 2020, right? I believe at the height of the COVID paranoia.
Don't know, don't care.
Wow, this movie was sitting around that long, huh?
Yeah, and I knew about the CGI kiss, and I looked, and I will give him kudos because that was a good CGI kiss. You couldn't tell. At least I couldn't tell, but I'm not an expert, and I wear
Kevin,
glasses.
are you blind, bro? Their whole
You can
mouth
see it?
area turned black.
What?
Their faces disappeared. It was like in the Matrix when Neo loses his mouth.
Not on my TV.
Well, you watch. Oh, okay. Well, you must be running one of those CRTVs, bro.
All right.
Like,
Juan, did it turn black on yours or no? Or were you not paying attention at that point?
I think I was checked out.
bro,
Nah, I
watch it
didn't notice it.
again.
No, I did.
It's so obvious. Like their
I rewound it too.
their faces melded together. It like all the other times they kissed, it was fine. Like you see their faces, and then no, this all of a sudden it was like a black area. It was a black hole.
Honestly, they had such little chemistry that I would buy it if you told me Lauren London was all CGI.
I do like how they cut to someone and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's a lot of tongue." I'm like, "Why would you say that? We just saw that there's no tongue involved."
She was actually CGI. She was played by the guy that played
Andy Serkis?
Yes.
That guy can do anything.
Gollum.
I listen. I noticed that once that kiss happened, their faces all got distorted. Kevin needs
maybe it's your feed. I'm just gonna say maybe it was your feed.
What you mean feed?
maybe your Xfinity isn't as high powered as my Xfinity.
I was on my phone. I watched it on my phone, bro.
Maybe you were buffering. Maybe you were buffering during it.
No, ain't no buffering, bro. I was on 1080p.
I was on my giant TV. Well, it was not that giant, but I was on my TV watching it.
No,
waiting with bated breath for the end of this movie. So, I was very
desperate for it to end.
It's done.
Yeah, it's crazy because your last pick was what? All Quiet on the Western Front.
Oh, I'm all over the place, bro.
Dude, and I thought Kevin's last pick set the bar low.
Nah, man. Listen, I had zeros and ones last season. I might have you people this season.
This was worse than zeros and ones, by the way.
Yeah. Zeros and ones is already coming up, baby.
Listen, when you see my movie list, hold my beer.
Cult classic.
There's some that could either be gems on my list or they're going to be worse than anything y'all have ever seen in your lives.
I mean, yeah, I've already experienced that.
No, you haven't.
Yes,
there's
because
one movie
I would
found out about. I'm like, this looks so good, or it's going to be horrible, and I want to watch it.
You know, speaking of that, do you think that we should start picking movies that like more people would be interested in?
Like more recent movies?
I'm not even gonna say recent, but like movies that are popular.
Yes.
I don't. You can go ahead, bro. You can pick whatever movies you want.
I have some popular ones in here.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I picked this one because I knew it was fairly popular. It was on the top list of Netflix for a while, top 10. So it's been viewed by a lot of people. So this one is kind of falling into the trend. But I've been thinking about that recently.
Also, I will state though that we've done like a bunch of movies so far that are Oscar nominated. So it's not my fault if people want to watch trash just because it's popular. Okay, I'm trying to elevate people's cinematic palette. So
you know what we should do though? We should do an episode where the viewers pick the movie we watch.
Yeah, I'm down.
Like literally leave it up to them. Throw out, say, hey, what movies? And then once everyone picks, we'll then do a poll and say, all right, vote. These are the movies that were picked, and top voted is the next movie we do. That'd be interesting.
There you go. It's not a bad idea.
Something to toy with.
That's gold right there.
All right.
Gold,
do you want to kick us off with our ratings?
Sure.
Go for it.
All right. You people, I I don't know how this cast was wasted, but it was wasted in its entirety. Um, no, no, I digress. It was not wasted in its entirety. It was David Duchovny, who was the sole shining star in this movie. And if you are going to view this movie after everything that we've said, just make sure that your eyes are peeled on Arnold. And you'll come out with a half crooked smile because Arnold was just, he was gold throughout the movie. This movie was trying to be too much. When you have a rom-com, there's usually two things that should be in a rom-com: romance and comedy. Rom-com isn't usually the type of genre that you to portray like your message and get across your message, and it that doesn't make sense. So I don't know why this was a rom-com if we were trying to digest this message that you're giving us, because at the end of the day, nothing hit. Your message didn't come across. The romance didn't come across. There's no comedy, and we're left with nothing. We're left with the black hole that has absorbed the time that we can never get back from viewing this. And I mean, if that's really truly at the end of the day what you were going for, then 5 stars. But I don't think that's what you were going for. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give it a 2 only because of Duchovny. Um, if he didn't have such great if he didn't have such great moments, this would 100% been a 1 for me. But I guess you people gets a 1, and then David Duchovny gets a 1, and at the end of the day, it comes to a 2.
All
Two
right,
little
that's
Jerrys for me.
2 little Jerry's out of possible 5, which is how we rate here. If this is your first time listening, so sounds like a very generous 2 for Mark.
Gentlemen's 2.
Yeah, Kevin.
All right. I can never figure out why they were getting married. Who dates for that little time and gets married? I don't know. But
I did.
a line that I liked was
What was it?
what? You tell me, because I don't know. It felt like it was like a week.
They
I
did.
mean-
Well, no, it dated, and then it said 6 months later,
Yeah.
and then they met the parents. So at some point in 6 months, they
Even
got.
6 months seems like such a short time to date before you ask someone to marry them.
My wife and I
But-
dated for 9 months.
I know there was the. I was just you did 9 months, not 6.
I mean, by the time everything happened, it could have been 9 months.
It's
Anyway,
true.
continue. Sorry.
A line that did make me chuckle was that Jonah Hill looked like a dad at Coachella who lost his kid, and I wish they would have lost to me. I will never watch this movie again. Will not recommend it. Will not like. I will physically turn off the TV if anyone's watching it when I walk in. So I will give it a 1 and a 1 alone.
A 1. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a romantic comedy or you're looking for a modern film that tackles some of these issues of just a certain racial divide or whatever, there's
Ain't it?
there's way better places to look than this. Don't let the names on the marquee fool you just because they have done great things in the past. They didn't show up here, and so out of respect for our rating system, I stated on our last episode that I will never give a 0. So I gave the last movie a 0.5. But this is,
Oh my god!
and I genuinely thought that was gonna be my lowest score ever. But this is definitely a worse movie than that one, so I can't give it the same. So it has to be a 0.25, a quarter of a star.
I thought you were about to Price is Right and go 0.4.
I said a star. I meant a little Jerry. A quarter of a little Jerry. For this one, I think you should burn it, drown it, smother it, bomb it, bury it, take it out back, shoot it, never look at it again.
But it's still gonna tell you about the culture.
The impressive part, there's still room for you to go lower than that. So,
How low can you go? How low can you go? Well,
I hope not, man.
no. Well, I'm glad I was able to bring this to you guys. I like to spice things up, you know. I shoot for the top, but I shoot for the bottom. What can I tell you?
never
That's
let them,
good.
never let
That's
them know
good.
where you're coming from.
That's because you're Hispanic and you people like spice.
Whoa! What do you mean, you people?
Good
I
God.
need
Hey,
rice
you-
with every meal.
You got me, man. If that's the thing about us that we like spice, you got me. Okay, because I like hot sauce.
Oh, bro, I bathe in hot sauce.
Funny thing is, I'm gonna take the girls to go see her too. So it all works out in the end.
See who? Oh, the racist grandma.
The racist, the considerate racist great grandmother.
You know, why is it the racist ones always live forever, bro? It always boggles my mind.
The devil don't want them.
Who do you think? Who do you think likes or like tolerates spice the most? Though the ones that come to my mind are Hispanics, in particular Mexicans,
Oh, yeah.
black people. They love their hot sauce.
Yeah.
Indian people, they love their spice, and also Asians, man.
Bro, so you mean everyone but white people?
Keep going, Juan.
Just say what
Mon-
your chest wants. Just say what your chest.
Mongolians,
Yeah, pretty much, I guess.
Samoans,
Samoans,
Samoans.
Australians, Caribbean. Yeah, bro. Everyone but white people.
Filipinos.
I feel like that would be a fun like reality show, you know, like trying to find out who has the hottest, who uses the hottest spices, you know, who has the best tolerance, and then also make it a racial thing.
Yeah.
Mwah.
Listen, completely off topic, but Dave Chappelle called "I Know Black People," where he questions a bunch of different people of different races and black people, and questions like about stereotypes, you know, and seeing how most people who aren't black still know the stereotypes, but the white people really drop the ball. It's pretty good. It's a good one to watch. I know black people. Dave Chappelle.
You mean from the Chappelle Show?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's really
Yeah,
funny.
of course I've seen it. It's the Chappelle Show.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, I believe it's called Chappelle's Show.
No, it's called the Chappelle Show.
I'm a millennial, bro. I'm not a Zoomer. Of course I've seen Chappelle Show.
And fair enough. Yeah, you're right. My bad. My fault.
But yeah, that is a good one.
I hear Kevin furiously typing.
No,
It's correct.
it is Chappelle's Show because I thought it was called the Chappelle Show.
No, it's Chappelle Show.
Yeah, Chappelle, S.
Yes,
Show.
I know. Anyways,
There we go.
All right. Yeah, so again, thanks, Mark. I believe next up is me. So I got some hopefully something better than this. But
hopefully you
again,
have some cream for this burn I just left y'all with.
thank you for listening. If you enjoy what you hear, we ask that you please share the episode, give us a good rating, like us, subscribe, follow, comment, tell us your thoughts, man. If you feel like we completely missed the mark on this, let us know. We're not gonna make fun of you too much, but
Well,
like I said, we appreciate
not to you.
Yeah,
behind your back.
we appreciate you listening. And until next time, I will sign off.
Love you.
Love you, people.